some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. I'll sit down, I'll sit down, I'll sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 in sympathy.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. This is the next journey with Anthony Herbert, talking about his journey with the Arsenal. Anthony, mate, how you been?
Not too bad, Jess. I'm glad I finished work. I'm glad I'm home now, and I'm glad I'm going to do me Arsenal journey with you on this stream.
Perfect, man. Perfect. Off stream, we were just having a quick chat about the game last night against the MLS All-Stars. Good performance on the park. I mean, let's be honest, the MLS All-Stars were pretty shit. It was an exhibition game. Let's put it that way. But I like what I saw from Havertz scored. There's definitely a player in there. Florian Balogun, I liked him. He gives me a bit of a feeling of another Omri-esque type player. He's big, he's fast, he's great on the ball. His dribbling skills, I think, are superb. I don't want to see him go, mate. I really don't. I mean, you said to me there's possibly a chance of a deal between Brighton for Caicedo and him. I think that's a big mistake. I do. I don't want to see him go. I don't think, Anthony, it's the right time for us to start getting rid of our talent. We're on the cusp. Arteta now has got everything he's wanted. He's had the money. He's had the players. So why would we want to get rid of this talent? I don't get it, mate. What do you think?
No, I don't understand it at all, Jez. I mean, when we first actually seen him, when Balogun first came onto the scene, people started rating him, this, that, and the other, and he kind of he drifted off, in my opinion. And then when we sent him out on loan in France, my God, I know it's a different get the fish over there from the Premier League, obviously to over the French league, but I mean, he scored in the average, I think it was around about 20, 25 goals that season. But then you think of it, that was a move he needed to improve his career, to get basically for people to notice what he's all about and what opportunity he can offer any football team. And he did that when he was over in France. I don't think we should get rid of him, because at the minute, Jesus is he's basically the main striker up front, and then you've got to favour Balogun. You can switch them in vital games, and Balogun can come on as sub. He could be a player that like when Van Persie was when he used to play for Arsenal, when he come on in sub as in the last 20-25 minutes of the game, he can change that game, and I think that's what Balogun could do. Look, if it was me, he gets the nod over to me from Eddie Nketiah anyway, any time of the day. So I thought that that needs to be looked at, because obviously with Jesus being our main striker, but with Jesus, is he capable of scoring 20-25 goals a season? I know he was partly out through last season, but I don't think he is. I think he may be like a Odegaard. I think you'd be lucky to get 15 goals out of him a season, at the most. So so Balogun, if he stays, and not that gives us more money to invest in somewhere else in another position, on the pitch. There's been talks that Partey might be leaving, that he could still be going. So if he goes, if we could save the money in one area, we can spend it in that area. If Partey goes, obviously replacing him with a good DM look. So, but this is Arsenal we're talking about, and funny things do happen in the transfer window, especially in the last couple of hours that's remaining of the transfer window. So I just hope he stays, in my opinion. I really do.
No, I totally agree with everything you said there. I think, Arsenal last season, we did well. I think Arteta made some poor mistakes, naive mistakes, but we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Go for some of the chat before we get into your journey. Pete Hayward, good to see you, Pete. Excuse me. Apologising, just not to you, Kenny, Gracie, Lee, TJ. I was out of order. I was also deluded. You are someone with true knowledge of the club and somebody I can learn from. Well, maybe, Pete, if you're serious, maybe you will. Pete says, I wish I'd been to Highbury. You were right about the Emirates. It's a soulless place. It is to me. That's my opinion. I'm not putting it on anybody else. You have a good taste. That is why you have a classic Jaguar. I do, but it's not working at the moment. It's broken, which is bloody annoying. We're waiting for a new fuel pump for it, but there you go. It is what it is, man. It is. Pete says again, if Arteta does not get things right this time, you're right. He will need to go. We are not good enough. End of. The City excuse are deluded, and I've been a fool. No, mate. Look, Pete, I'm just going to say to you, you're entitled to your opinion. Doesn't mean everybody's going to agree with you, but it is what it is. Danny says all stars. Yeah, I don't think they were really, but really, there you go. I think they were shit personally. Yeah, Bargam. I like Balogun. I like I like him. I'm going to put a statement out there now. I said, I think he has got Henry-esque talent. He's big, he's strong, he's quick. He can muscle defenders off the ball. And that's what we need. And I don't want him to go.
He's got one of a shot on him as well, Jez. To be honest with you. Look,
Yeah.
I've seen some of the goals on YouTube and obviously on highlights of the telly, like the games that he's been in. And I tell you what, he has scored some few good, spectacular goals as well. I know it's a different standard, we keep saying it, but the trouble is, though, you've got to play at a certain level to improve yourself, haven't you? So,
yeah,
that's what he's done. And it's like I said, I really hope we do keep him. And if anything, it makes you think, is he going to look over his shoulder and thinking, well, hang on, he did it last season. He scored 20-odd goals last season. All right, I was out with injury. I think Jesus scored, what was it, like 12 goals last season, 11, 12 goals through his, for his injury. So, he'd be looking over his shoulder, surely thinking, hang on, this young guy, he's got talent. And, I've really got up my game here, because that's what football's all about. And we got to start getting that back into the Arsenal team. Because of last season, I know people say we bottled it, we did. But the trouble is, though, even though how much we was at the top and we led that table last season, with Arteta, he's always got a plan A. But I always find Arteta, he struggles to bring up a plan B. You know what I'm saying? So, and the games we lost last season, as well. I mean, we should, when we lost against Everton, we should have beat Everton.
Oh,
Drawing with West Ham, we should beat the likes of West Ham. And, like Southampton and that sort of stuff. But it's always these lower teams that we seem to be struggling against when we come roughly towards the end of the season. But, hopefully this season he gets it right, and, you've got to back him to a certain degree, haven't you, Arteta? So
I'm going to say this. I'll put it out there. I think I said on Kyle's last night journey. He's got everything he's wanted. We failed last season, but that was, I think, down to some of his issues. He made some tactical errors, made some stupid substitutions. Notably, Liverpool, Anfield away, 2-0 up. He then 2-2. He puts Kiwior in midfield. Unproven Premier League player at Anfield, you stick him in midfield. Sorry, not sure about that one. Danny, mate, thank you very much for your super sticker. You're an absolute real one. You're relentless, man, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Mama Flossie, even to you, Mama Flossie, thanks for being here. And Pete is saying, I'm serious. Honestly, I'm sorry. Well, fair play to you, fella. If you are serious and you're actually saying that, you don't have to apologise to me. You honestly don't, because, I've been around the block a lot of times and I've had a lot worse. We're going to get into this. So, Anthony, why did you start supporting Arsenal? Is there something in the family, or is it just something you decided to do?
Well, it's mainly something that I decided to do. I mean, I've mentioned it on the stream before, obviously, when we had the quiz last time. I was watching a game on the TV. It was televised. It was back in, I think it was 85 season, when we beat Liverpool. Arsenal beat Liverpool 3-2. And if you remember, it was that Talbot when he scored that quality free kick. In the end, I thought, bloody hell, it was a game I've watched. Growing up, I think you've got to admit this as well, Jez, through the 80s and 90s. I mean, you had the program was called The Match, on it, in the, you always had the football games on there. And the games that they always showed basically was the Arsenal games, the Man United games, and a couple and the Liverpool games. They were the three main teams that you actually watched on the telly, So yeah, so I've been watching Arsenal through and through. Then I'm proud to say that with my missus, my partner, she's also an Arsenal fan. My son's an Arsenal fan, and also my stepson, he's an Arsenal fan as well. So we're all Arsenal fans in this household, and you can imagine what it's like when we lose. Well, a game we should win, but we lose through stupidity, and you can understand the frustration in my household.
I can empathise with you. That's actually quite interesting that you and Kyle started supporting Arsenal about the same time.
Yeah,
that's an interesting fact, actually. So I'll ask you. I'm not sure. Did you ever get the chance to go to Highbury?
Yes, I had a chance to go to Highbury. It was the 97. It was, and I would have kicked myself because the same again. I'm going to bring up that quiz, Jez. The question come up in the quiz, and it was when we beat Bolton, and Ian Wright scored that hat-trick, and he beat Cliff Basson's record. He had the 179 on his shirt. So that was the main thing. And I always look at that goal, that Ian Wright goal, what Bergkamp created. It was like a little slit in for Wright. It was a lovely pass, well timed, precision. It was everything you wanted there. And obviously, Ian Wright went on and scored the goal, and obviously broke Cliff Basson's record. So that's the opportunity that I had as well. Also, I think it was the 96, 97 season as well. I watched them. We played Aston Villa, and I don't know if you can remember this striker for Aston Villa, Savo Milosevic. It was at Villa Park, and he scored 2 goals, and it was Merton that scored one back, and Andy Linnigan, out of all players, he equalised for us. It was a header, and it hit the post and went in. Yeah, we were there, and because we were limited on money. I think, I don't know if you've done this, Jez, but I think sometimes we may have done this through life. It was actually cheaper, and it was the only way that we can go and watch the game. Me and my mate Trev, he also is an Arsenal fan, because we wanted to watch them. We had to stand it. We had to be in the Villa, with the Villa fans to watch them. I know it sounds a bit horrible and this and that, but listen, anything Arsenal, I know you should be on the away end, but it works out cheaper being in the home stand. We were limited back then. We were limited for money. I think I was in my job then, started working on it's basically then it was a YTS scheme. wasn't it? And you know, and you not loads of money. I think it was like £30 a week or something like that, earning. You're just scraping and saving and this and that. So yeah, we had to. That unfortunately, that was what we done. But listen, it was a good day out, and you know, and the main thing was that Arsenal didn't lose.
Well, that's always a good day out when Arsenal don't lose. Ask you this one though, mate. Highbury or the Emirates, which one is the best for you?
Highbury, without a doubt. And the only reason I say this, Jez, is because I've been to Highbury, you know, a few times. But in all fairness, I've never been to the Emirates. I've never been.
Fair play.
And I would like to go. I mean, my missus on her birthday next year, she said she'd like to go and either watch a game or go on a tour around the Emirates, because you do that without like an Arsenal legend, and they show you around the place, don't they? And that. And I said, well, basically, in a polite way, I did say to her, I said, well, you can sod off. I'm going to do that on my birthday, but what do you want to do on your birthday? that was my opinion. So that's got to happen, and it'll be on my birthday, not hers.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually never done the tour at the Emirates. Yeah. I know people have done it and say it's quite amazing. But as I've said to loads of people, I've said that Gracie May's done it. Loads of people I know have done it, and I've always said to them, "Where is this fourth place? Where is this top four trophy?" I've never seen it because everybody says, "Oh, it's get top four, get top four, get top four," and I've never ever seen the top four trophy. I've asked Kenny Ken to go and find it for me, but it seems to be non-existent. But never mind, I'm taking the piss.
No, but you're right there. You're right. You're absolutely right. You don't get a trophy for winning second, like getting second, third, fourth, and so forth. You just got to come top, and that's it. Is that, you know? I mean, you look at it last season. I'll tell you the truth. I thought Manchester United had a better season than us. Even though they finished third, they won a trophy. End of. I mean, you look at West Ham. Near relegation survived. They won the Europa League Conference. Does that? Yeah. I mean, that means a better season already. Do you know what I mean? They won a European trophy.
I said this, and I got a lot of abuse for it. Is the fact coming second means nothing. You win nothing for second, but that's old news. We've been there. And I hope that Mikel Arteta learns his lesson of where he went wrong. I think he will. I'm being positive. I think he will. You know, I think he was. I think he was probably heartbroken what happened at the end, and that was, I think, a lot down to, I've said, poor substitutions, some stupid tactics, but also we had a weak squad. We lost Saliba, we lost Jesus at times, and we didn't have the backup players to do it. And this is what I said to you, Anthony, is the fact is that I don't want us to be starting to sell players like Florian Balogun. You know, I think he can come in, he can do a job. I don't want to see Partey go. I think he was one of our best players last season. Yeah. You know, I don't rate Zinchenko personally. That's my personal view. I don't like this inverted left wing defender going midfield. It leaves us exposed, and it cost us at games.
Yeah, it does. It also, even though we beat Chelsea, but the last game we played against Chelsea is a prime example. I mean, you got Shevchenko that's playing left back, and then to me, he likes drifting up into that DM position, doesn't he? And then he goes forward a little bit more. But then you got to think when Shevchenko, if you've ever seen it, when he goes forward, we've got then Saliba and Gabriel. They're drifting out to the left. Yeah. And then Partey's coming back into centre back. So you've got three players there at a position due to one certain player.
Yeah.
And I say it on my show and I say it on my stream as well. And a prime example, I said it to Manny, I said it to Tony Claude, I said it to all of them, and they totally agreed. And I just really hope next season, I think Kieran Tierney should play. He's
Absolutely.
star left back, captain material.
Totally agree with you, man. While we're on it, mate, shout your channel out whilst people are watching. Shout your channel out.
Yeah, I do a show on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. We're setting up a few things now. I spoke to the guy, and it's called Football United TV. It's a Man United channel, I know, but he lets me host a show which is called Gunners from All Corners. Obviously, it's a show I host. I get Arsenal fans on there. We talk nothing but Arsenal. We have a bit of debate. We talk about the game. We can have a laugh as well. All the good things, all the good positive things that you really want in the stream. I might come a bit across not rude and abrupt, but I do certain ask questions because I, like you, Jed, I like to get other people's thoughts and opinions on it, and try and get obviously different people on my show as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to come on one day, man.
I'll have you on.
Give me a shout. I'll come on, mate. I'd love to. I love to go on different shows. It's half what it's all about. Macy says, "Did you see the Women's World Cup, Jez?" I haven't yet. I won't lie. I watched the game last night. I didn't get to bed till 6 o'clock this morning, and I was knackered. So I haven't seen it. It was the Australia-Northern Ireland or Ireland game. I haven't. I will watch it. I will watch it because I think women's football deserves support, and the Lionesses are a decent bloody team. Let's get it right.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And so I will watch it when I can. Mate says Highbury is better than the Emirates. Yeah, I think the problem is with me. I'm biased. I'm biased with it because I grew up there, and so I've got it's a bit unfair. But anyway, mate, let's get back into your journey. What's your favourite FA Cup final you've ever watched or been to? What's the most memorial for you?
The one I got to go back to is most probably against Sheffield Wednesday in 1993. As we know, that went to a replay, didn't it?
Yeah.
That one. One on the first game, we won 2-1. Chris Waddle scoring for, Sheffield Wednesday. But yeah, I mean that was a great highlight for us, and especially back then. I thought it was, to me that was a sort of final that stood out for me, and the team. I mean, I can remember O'Leary was still at that team at the back. David O'Leary, he was still playing. I think we had the players actually spoke for themselves, Jez. In going back then, everybody knew each other's position. Everybody knew the way to start a play, how to play it. The offside rule, they just knew each other's game. They just read the game, and I know that we got called boring Arsenal, with our 1-0 wins, and we were boring. But listen, it was 3 points, and it was a clean sheet, and it was those days that made it like watching Arsenal. But I know a question that most probably coming up later on regarding managers, maybe, but I'll save my answer to then. But I thought it was absolutely fantastic FA Cup final.
Oh yeah, I mean it's class, and that's quite ironic actually that when Kyle did his journey last night, he came up with the same thing, and it was a class final. The fact that we did the domestic double, the first time in our history, and you'll remember, don't you, that Tony Adams, when he picked up Steve Morrow and dropped him over his shoulder, and he dislocated his shoulder in the league. I mean, and do you remember the controversy that season? It was Arsene Wenger. It was what's his name? George Graham. George Graham. That there was rumours going around about dodgy dealings.
Yeah,
Then obviously it all came to a head, didn't it? And
yeah,
off out he went.
yeah.
But
I think it was 94. It was 94, wasn't it?
yeah.
And I think that had an impact on it, because you think of it, the season before that, I think, was a good season, and then that season, 94, was what Blackburn won the Premier League, and we finished 12th that season. And I think with that, I think he knew it was sort of like coming, or whatever. But I think that,
the writing was on the wall, man.
yeah, and I think that affected his coaching ability and trying to get across to the players as well. I mean, we were so poor that season, and that was really a horrible season. And that, believe it or not, Jess, that's one season that I literally, as an Arsenal fan, put behind me. I just don't want to be reminded of that season, because when George Graham left, it was, it was bad, and weren't too sure what manager was coming in. I mean, over a couple of seasons, around about that time, Stuart Houston took over as well, didn't he? His temporary Don Howe. Yeah, so it's that was bad times then, back in 94, 95 season. So
it was. I remember back then that when I was going at home and away, I was like losing serious interest, because I was like, why am I paying all this money to go traveling away? And we were just shit. We were shocking.
People they had us down to win the league that season as well.
Yes,
back in 94, like, they had us down to win the league, and I can remember one of the players we signed was a Swedish player called Stefan Schwarz.
That's it. Yes.
And he was a bad little player, mind. I can remember the free kick he scored in the second phase of what it was then the Cup Winners' Cup against Sampdoria. We beat them 3-2 on the first game, and then we lost 3-2 the second game. But obviously, with the aggregate score of 5-5, I think it went into extra time.
Yeah,
so
did it go to penalty? Did it go to penalties? I can't remember now.
I think
I actually wasn't at the game at home. I was away on a course, but I do remember watching it on the telly. I think did it? I can't remember, man. To be honest.
Yes, if believe it or not, it was in the second game. Not the first one we won 3-2, but I think it was the second one we lost 3-2. I think it was that one. Steve Bold scored 2 goals. He got the 2 goals. But Steve Bold, he got the 2 goals for Arsenal, and it was a great night for Boldy. Doing that, it was really good. And to a certain player, that was a good defender. I mean, going back there, him and Tony Adams, your centre backs, your tall, strong centre backs, and you think of it, that was George Graham's way of playing football. Your tall, strong players at the back.
I remember you remember they re-released it, the new version of that classic film, The Full Monty.
Yeah.
The steel worker guys are doing, their strip thing, and the that guy says, "Well, it's easy. It's the Arsenal call." The guy's trying to get them, isn't he, to move forward? And he says, "It's the Arsenal offside trap," and like, it's like classic. Danny, again, thank you, my friend. Friendlies mean F all. They do. Do you get something from friendlies, Jez? No, they mean nothing. I mean, we're playing Man United Saturday, Barcelona next week, and then we got the Community Shield. It's the Community Shield that means it. It means, can we step it up against Manchester City? Interesting that, because Mahrez is gone. He's off to Saudi Arabia. Great player in my book. Great player. But I don't want to go down too many different roads. I want to ask you about your journey, mate. And I'll ask you this. I've tried to mix it up with different people. Why do you, Anthony, think Arsenal are so crap in Europe?
I think, to be honest with you, we always have been, Jez. We haven't been that great. Obviously, the best one was when we won it, when Smudgy and Smith scored that goal in the Winners' Cup final when we beat Parma 1-0 in Copenhagen, and that was it. I know we was in the Champions League final. I've heard people say it, and I think we were cheated out of that. You know, I think we were cheated out of that. I think we could have went on and win it that year. I think we could have. But I just feel that we. I mean, people turns around. You hear so many people saying, "Oh, yeah, but it's too many games." But of late, you think of it. We last season, and the season before, we didn't really have the how can I say this? We didn't have the depth. I felt we were slightly weak, weren't we? And obviously went through injuries and players like this, players coming in. I think that was the only time when Mikel Arteta actually rotated the team, like last season and the season before that when we was in the Europa League, and it proved that it wasn't no good. I feel I mean, I know Unai Emery got us to the final against Chelsea in the Europa League, and you look at that team, but Unai Emery, but the players he had to work with. Most of them are gone now. It was Deadwood. He got them 5th in the league, and also got us to Europa League Cup final. And the players that they had, I forget the bloody right back now, the young kiddie. But you know, I feel that he tried his best with that team as well, and unfortunately. He got sacked when we were 8th. Arteta took over. We finished 8th, and then we finished 8th the following season after that. So, do you know what I mean? So we didn't really improve anything in those 2 seasons. So, but yeah, I just feel that we're weak all the way round. I can remember watching when we were back in the Champions League, and it was Don Howe. He was one of the countries on there, and he said about with Arsenal, he said they can go and get far into Europe. He said, but then that's it. He said, like the trophy is there waiting for it. It's dangling, it's swinging in front of them, but they just can't get that final grasp onto it. You know, when we've been in finals, we've lost finals, stroke semi-finals. We may have lost out on penalties or whatever. But yeah, we don't do really good in Europe, to be honest with you, Jez. And I can remember that one final. I basically had the piss ripped out of me when Naeem scored that goal from the halfway line.
God, yeah.
Past Seawood. And blimey! Did I know about it the next day? God, I had people ripping the piss out of me in work.
David Seaman.
Yes, yeah. If you notice, he jumped too early. He jumped way too early, and it was like on the tip of his hand, at his finger, and then it went straight into the back of the net, and he fell back. And it was right the last minute of the game as well. But by then, the Arsenal player, I think the life and soul was just literally just taken out of him. He was like, God, here we go. But yeah, we've never done well. But
no,
I don't think we're gonna win the Champions League this season, though, Jess. I think we'll get to round of 16. Maybe straight quarterfinals at the most.
I think he's got to. I think there's no excuse anymore. The amount of money we've spent. I mean, I watched the game last night. I know it's only it was an exhibition game. I wouldn't even class that as a friendly. It was an exhibition game, and Arsenal just. I mean, it wasn't until I think the 86th minute that the All-Stars actually had a shot on target, to be honest. They had a few shots, not a lot, Arsenal were just totally dominant, and it's not surprising. I mean, you've got 22 players that came on for the MLS All Stars from different clubs.
Yeah.
You're not going to gel, are you? But
No.
what I did like was seeing Declan Rice. He's class. That guy is absolute class. He's calm. He's collective. He looks dangerous. And I'll say this, I think there's a player in that Kai Havertz, and I know a lot of people have slated him, and good reason. Chelsea friends of mine have said, thanks for the 65 million. I just think he's been played out in the wrong places, but we'll see. I could probably be proven totally bloody wrong, and I usually am. So that's fair play.
I think the same, Jess. I think the same. I think there is a hidden player inside Havertz, but it's like I said. He was signed by Frank Lampard originally when Frank Lampard was manager of Chelsea, and then you look at it, he's had, and then if you count Frank at the back of last season, all right, that's 3 different managers. But then with Frank, none of them got the best out of him. But I think that the way our Arteta is, and how Larry he can be, because we've all seen All or Nothing. We've seen his halftime speeches and his full-time speeches, even before the game. I think he can. I think he can turn him into a good player, but it's going to take time. Has he got a lot of time? No, I don't think he has. But at the same time, I think he needs certain time playing games. Bring him in. Because you're not going with Arsenal now. You're not going to waste 65 million and have him on the bench, are you? Not at Arsenal Football Club. You can't do that. So it's tricky on where he's going to play. But in my opinion, if Arteta is going to play him, he's going to get 13 football and he starts. He's going to have to change the formation. He can't play. I don't think he could play the 4-3-3. I don't think he could most probably play the 4-2-3-1 because you're not going to drop Odegaard for him, are you? In one way, because if it's the middle and Martinelli out on the left, Saka on the right, you can't drop any of them just for Havertz to play. So the only formation I could think of, it most probably be something like a what would it be? A 4-1. A 4-1-3-2 maybe or something like that. So that's what it's gonna be like, So that's the only way you could play him. Is either a partner him up front with Jesus, or somewhere just in behind.
I think you play behind him. I think they all play behind Jesus. I think Havertz is not an out and out striker.
No.
I think he's more of an attacking midfielder. And he'll slot in there. Maybe he played him last night, didn't he, out on the left, where Xhaka used to play. And he did a job. I mean, I'm not going to go big on it because it's an exhibition game, so it'd be interesting. But let's get back to your journey, my friend.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What is your most disliked team? The team you dislike the most?
My team I dislike the most. There's actually 3, Jess, believe it or not, with me.
Go on.
The 3 of them, you've got to put Tottenham and Man United in there.
Absolutely.
And the other one, believe it or not, I blow hot and cold on, is Chelsea.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
It's Chelsea. I think it went back to the days when Mourinho was the manager and that, and they used to say when because they had all the money there, didn't they? With their ex-owner, and we used to say, Chelsea's bought the league, they bought the Champions League, this, that, and the other. Nobody can. It was like Man City back in the day, wasn't it? Nobody was competing with them and that sort of thing. I mean, we were sort of struggling. Every season we were either finishing 3rd or 4th. I mean, it was probably 18 points behind Chelsea. So that was that was a bit of a piss take, but you know, it's all different now. And if if you want to ask me, it's like what you said earlier, Jez. I thought that this season, with the money that Arsenal spent on three players now, so on these three players, I think it's come to around about, I think it's what, 200 million mark, 210 million.
Something like that.
So it,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's got to be it's got to be, you know, you can't not say Arteta has been back this season. He has. He's got the players. He's had the funds to do that. Listen, I mean, from now to the end of the season, anything can happen.
Mm.
I can most probably see one, maybe two players coming in, but at least another one. But unfortunately, with all this money we're spending, are we going to be shocked by the, and touch wood, this doesn't happen, but can we see a star player leaving in this transfer window to make up the, do you know what I'm saying? But obviously with the fun sort of thing.
Yeah, that's my worry, Anthony.
Yeah.
Really is. I think we've got, as we sit right now, there's a few players I'll get rid of. There is Holding, Nketiah. I just don't think they're the levels. I mean, Nketiah started yesterday in that game. He was crap. I mean, I'm sorry. He was bloody crap. And he was playing against a piss poor side.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a team that just wasn't interested. They've got there because they're getting paid a shed load of money, I dare to say, appearance money, and he was bloody awful. But it is what it is. Casanova, great comment. We need 11 George Armstrongs. If we had that spirit, we'd win everything. Yes, we would. That guy, mate, would break your legs. Facts, absolute facts. Even to you, Taib. Hello. Mate, I'll ask you this one then. I'll ask you this question, my friend. Hang on, I need my glasses now because it's getting dark in here. Shows me age. This is a tricky one. How do you feel Arsenal have overall performed in your life of supporting them? I mean, we've had some great times, we've had some shit times, but how would you say Arsenal really have been? I mean, we've had some poor management, haven't we?
We have. Yeah, we have. I felt going back from when I can remember. I think that, you know, we were a good Arsenal. Obviously, I'll say from the late 80s to the middle 90s. You know, we were a good team. You know, and we had a good lot of players that knew and read the game and knew everybody's strengths and weaknesses. Unfortunately, I feel that period of time under Arsene Wenger, we almost went a decade without winning a trophy. Now, to me, that's not Arsenal Football Club. To me,
No,
that's not Arsenal Football Club. Because then I tell you what, within that I'll say 9 years where we didn't win a trophy. In that 9 years, a team like Arsenal, they should have at least won, at least I would say most probably 4 to 5 trophies within that 9 years, maybe 6. Because there's times where you play our season and you might, you know, you don't win anything, but you finished it like, you know, top, like, you know, like second or third in the league. But I just feel that time, I think Wenger, I think a lot of it was on Wenger. I've noticed when, let me say this. Do you remember when we signed Sylvain Wiltord for 13 million?
Yeah.
Right. It seemed like every season went past, we could not spend no more than £13 million on the season, because, in my opinion, it felt like Wenger thought it was his money.
Absolutely agree. Totally agree.
He thought it was his. He thought it was his money, and it went on for a few years. We couldn't buy it. We didn't bid no more than £13 million on the player, and then from there, I think like, obviously he's no longer with that. Antonio Reyes we signed. I
Yes.
think it was
R.I.P. to him.
yeah, RIP to him, yeah. And I think I can't remember. I think was he around about 18, 20 million?
He was, yeah.
Somewhere in that region, wasn't it? And then we thought, well, bloody hell, hang on a bit. And then, it started going up from there, gradually bidding millions of pounds for players. And then, obviously.
Shamak. Do you remember that Shamak when we bought Shamak?
Oh, Shamak. Yeah, Shamak, the striker.
Master.
Yeah, I remember him. Oh, do you know what? I thought, to be honest with you, Jez, when he played, I think it was the season we signed him, in the first 10 games he played, I thought that he wasn't bad in a way of, I think he scored around about, I think it was like 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, something like that.
But then he just went boom, and he just slumped out. He was gone. Nowhere to be seen. Couldn't hardly get a game. Wasn't scoring goals. I think we loaned him out to Crystal Palace, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was how crap he was to loan him out to Crystal Palace, and he didn't really score for Palace as well. He couldn't hardly score goals for Crystal Palace. So it proves what what sort of player there was. But there's been flops for years. I mean, the only flop I think our old manager signed, George Graham, is, if you can remember that guy. I put it in the comments yesterday on Carl's one. Do you remember that left winger we signed, Glenn Helder?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey! What a terrible play! I can remember I can remember he went for a shot on goal. I think it may have been the game he scored in, because he only his first, I think it was first and only goal was against Middlesbrough in the Premier League. And I can remember, don't get me wrong, he did have pace and a bit of skill. I can remember when he took a shot at goal, the ball, he had so much spin on it, and it went for it. It hit the bloody corner flag.
Yeah.
I can remember that, and I thought to myself, God, blimey, get this shit off the pitch. I don't want it on there. That was the signing George Graham done, but that's the only bad signing I reckon George Graham did in the Arsenal football team when he was manager at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask you this. We see, Arsene Wenger's going to have a statue, quite rightly, outside of the Emirates. Do you, in your belief, think that George Graham should have one?
Yeah, I think he should have one. I mean, you look at the length of time that George Graham was at Arsenal. I think, and a player. I have watched videos on him when he was a player as well, and I got to be honest with you. I think he deserves a statue. And I mean, you look. I think George Graham was there. Was he? I think it was 8 years he was the manager at our team at Arsenal Football Club. I think it was 8 years, because if I remember correctly, I read and it looked right. George Graham actually won 6 trophies in 8 years.
He did, yeah.
What does that tell you? There you go. No other manager has done that.
Cup, FA Cup, League Championships.
Cup Winners' Cups.
League Cups.
Yeah.
87 League Cup, 93. FA Cup, 93. 89 Division 1. Division 1, 91. So, but yeah, I mean, I think the only thing is, I mean, he was Arsenal captain in the 70s. He played in the iconic Division 1 FA Cup, Arsenal's first double, 70-71.
Yeah.
He played in the Fairs Cup, our first European trophy, 69-70. So that man is an icon of Arsenal Football Club.
Yes.
I don't get it. I purely and simply think it's purely down Is it a club thing? I don't know. Is it because I think personally, Anthony, it's down to what the dodgy dealings went on.
Yeah.
I think everybody makes mistakes in life, but that man was an iconic manager of this football club. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say Arsene Wenger wasn't bloody innocent of some dodgy dealings. I'm bloody certain he was, but I've no proof. But there we are. Before we wrap it up, I want to ask you this one. Prediction for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
Premier League, Champions League, and in the domestic cups, how do you think we're going to go?
There's only one way we got to go, Jez. I know it's silverware at the end of the day. In my opinion, I'm not worried about the Carabao Cup. I know that sounds horrible, but I agree. I've already given my views of the Champions League, round of 16 quarterfinals. Next season, without fail, Mr. Arteta, I want the Premier League, and also I want the FA Cup. That's the two. I want 2 trophies next season, because towards the end of next season, he's going to be at our club. It's either 4.5 seasons or 5, not far off of 5 years at our club. Now, if he wins them 2 and the previous FA Cup, that's 3 trophies in 5 years. I will give him my backing. He's got. I don't think he's the manager, but I'd like to be proved wrong. I'm not ashamed to say that at all. If he proves me wrong this season, hold your hands up and say, Mikel, sorry for faulting you. I would even come out on my stream and say it. I'd even say it on one of your shows as well, Jez, if I'm wrong. And do you know what? If he does it, then fair play to him. I'll take my hat off him. If not, if it's another trophy-less season, he's got to go. I'm sorry, but he's got to go, in my opinion. I don't want to finish second. I don't want a repeat of last season, and start throwing cups away, and to concentrate on the league and you don't win it. Because to be honest with you, he ballsed up last season, and I tell you what, that was he was the part of it as well, of last season as well, big time. So he needs to win.
Totally agree with you. I mean, last season when I was like doing match reviews and match rating, player rating, on Lee Gunner's channel. The misconception from a lot of people that watch Lee's shows, and they come out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, you're Arteta haters." Actually, we weren't. If you actually watched what we were saying and you actually had a brain, we were saying, well, actually, we gave Arteta probably 95% of the time top ratings. It was only when he cocked up that we said, well, you fucked up today, mate. And you're shit. But
people don't realise, Jez.
Go on.
I was on your stream. And we give, because I give you these, idea was obviously to do these streams, and I was on there with you, and we give all our players ratings, and we give them good ratings, and then it came to Mikel Arteta, and if I remember, out of a 10 for last season, I think you scored Arteta an 8 or an 8.5.
Yeah,
but you give him a very good score rating. You give them half a point more than what I give. I give 8, you give 8.5. Yeah. So if that's not backing him in one way, then what is? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, Anthony, is the problem is there's so many people that are driven by certain channels that will like to think, well, because they believe in what that channel's saying, anybody else's opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
I was on a show the other night on True Gooners TV, and there was a guy on there, and I roasted him because at the end of the day,
I watched it.
he is one of the problems in this fan base. It's not the fact I don't disbelieve what he thinks. It's what he tries to inflict on the fan base, and that is a problem. And that is where a lot of young Arsenal fans who will follow the narrative and want to be part of the group, they want to be, liked. They go on Twitter and all that, and they want to be getting their likes and whatever it is and crap.
Yeah.
They will follow it no matter what. It may be not. I mean, I chat to Kenny Ken a lot and Lee and everything, and they tell me a lot of things about a lot of things that go on a certain massive Arsenal channel. A lot of what they say, they don't actually bloody believe.
No.
And that is a sad thing. But Danny here, even now I see photos of George Graham holding the league trophy under this is the Anfield sign. I don't like it. No, I'm sure you wouldn't, mate. I'm sure you would not. But he did deserve it. I mean, the team deserved it. It was it was a terrible season that year. Let's not forget what happened. With the cup semi-final between Liverpool and Notts Forest. I mean, it's shocking. But we're going to wrap this up, people. Cyborg mentioned that some fans fail to differentiate between hate and high standards. Well, that is a very, very good comment, because that is it. It's not hating. I don't hate anyone, right? I've got no reason to hate anybody. I've got no reason to hate Mikel Arteta or anybody. It's the fact I expect the highest of standards. You're in business, Anthony. I was in business. I used to run a company, and you have to accept the highest of the highest. If you don't, you know, Anthony, you're only as good as your last job.
Yeah, that's right.
You can do hundreds and hundreds of great jobs. You do one shit job, and that's the one everybody moans about.
Yeah, and that'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Just that one shit job.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
And then, so if you're relying as a small business person on your reviews or your local recommendations from, somebody says, oh, get this guy, and he's brilliant. And then it's a shit job.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that goes global. This guy's they're fucking rubbish. Don't get them in. They're rubbish. Blah, blah, blah. And that is the point I'm trying to make, is that you have to be the best, right? And that is like Arsenal Football Club are a massive multi-billion pound club, right? So they have to be the best. I'm sorry, if you are the best, you have to compete.
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree with you, Jess.
We are.
And it ain't just this. It's for how long Arteta is in a job for. I mean, to be honest with you, he has been in a job for quite some time. I mean, I can remember like managers have done the same years ago for Chelsea. They didn't win nothing. Bang, they were gone. He didn't stand for it. But now I think our board's a little bit too soft. But in all fairness, he have backed him. You've got to agree with. You can't mistake Arteta with the players that he's got out and signed, because I do like Declan Rice. I thought Timber is going to be a very good player as well. We've discussed, Havertz tonight. We feel that there's a hidden player in there. I don't think he was coached right when he came over. He had so many different managers telling him what to do, playing him in different positions. He didn't stand a chance. So hopefully now he's come to us for 65 million. I've had Chelsea fans, some mates of mine support Chelsea, and they said exactly the same as your friends. Thank you for the 65 million. Now, hopefully, if he does well and he does really good and come on leaps and bounds, I could turn around and say, thanks for Havertz. We would. Yeah. So, and that's it. But I mean, I'm really looking forward to next season and see what
Yeah,
next season could bring. Because to be honest with you, Jez, life without football is rubbish. It's so miserable, isn't it? You know, there's only so much stuff you can watch and listen to, and God knows what else. So.
And the wife telling you things.
And the missus, yeah, definitely the missus. Well, blimey, you there thinking, oh, fucking hurry up, football season, come back. But that's that's a different story. But that's it. And I feel like with this stream tonight, we've discussed a few things, this, that, and the other, and there's one game that stood out for me, obviously, with Arsenal playing as well. You might remember this, Jess, but I can't remember the year. It was when we played Manchester United, and it was at the Emirates, and I think they were wearing blue. The Man United had their blue away kit on. Cristiano Ronaldo was playing in that game, and do you know what? They went 1-0 up with Wayne Rooney in the 50-odd minute, and then Van Persie was put on his sub and scored, and then Thierry Henry scored the goal in the last minute. We won 2-1. And that was the game, and everybody mentioned that was a game. It was called the day Thierry Henry showed Ronaldo who was boss, and that was the title. What an excellent game that was! And he come off his sub, Cristiano Ronaldo, in that game. He was pissed. You could sell it in his face. He wasn't having it. He was glad to get off that pitch. But I really enjoyed this and that. I'm going to say one more thing. I've got this here, and I'm going to pass it on to my son. I got an Arsenal skirt in a frame.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And it's actually, I don't know if you can see it there. You see the writing along here?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually a signed Arsenal top by Freddie Ljungberg himself.
Oh, class.
So, that's another thing about my the Arsenal journey. So that's which is a good thing.
Well, I have to say, mate, I've really enjoyed doing all of these with people's journeys. Everyone has been different. The reason I'm doing them is I'm trying to bring different content at this time of the season, because everybody talks about the same shit. Transfers. And I don't want to rinse and repeat, basically, because you know, I mean, they don't get massive views. I don't think I don't have a problem with it. And it's closed season is hard for YouTubers. You know that. You are a YouTuber, and when you're trying to find things to talk about, you got to try and I mean, actual fact, I've got to say, respect to you. It's your idea to do this. Actually, it was your idea, so respect to you. And I've got a few more to do. I think Gracie May will be joining. I think maybe at the weekend, and then TJ Warren. Fair play to him. He was at the game last night, and big respect to him. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the season to start. I like doing my match reviews, match previews, match reviews, and obviously the weekly Wednesday night show with Kenny Ken and stuff. And it's fun. I love doing this stuff. YouTube works a madness, because I've gone down 4 subs in a day. I don't know. I don't understand why, but it happens.
No. But just it happens. Don't let that get you down, or anybody who's got their own shows, if they're watching as well. Don't let that get you down, because to be honest with you, is even though we do this and we give you, we give you our content, the best content that we can give you. Just think of it. We do it. We do it for the love, don't we? For the love and the passion of our team. We like to get different people on, different views, and all this, where we could just talk, have a laugh. If a debate as well. Everybody's got different views on things, and this and that and the other. come on a stream and talk about it seriously. And we wouldn't have a go at you. I always say on my show,
Exactly.
your opinions is your opinions, is your views. People might not agree with them, but if people don't agree with them, it proves that people was listening to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it works in roundabouts. So, but yeah, don't be ashamed. Just come on the show and just give you your views. You know, I love coming on your show, Jez. And I gotta be honest with you, I am going to say this. When you first come on and you did your first ever stream, I subscribed to you and I watched your first ever stream. And you know me, I'm always watching. I'm always writing comments in the chat, which I always do. And I know you started late in obviously doing this because you weren't too sure whether to do it or not. But now you've done it. I think you've done a fantastic job, mate. And your subs say that as well.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you, man, because we've built up a great community. I love going to other channels. We've got a great group chat on Insta, and we get all kinds of people chatting and talking and everything. And I love getting different people on. And I have said many times, if anybody in the chat wants to come on and have a chat and talk about anything of football, that's fine. You know, I'll sit here and I'll talk. You know, and that's what it's all about. It's a great journey. We all talk about football, and it's our love, and it's great. Anthony, shout your channel out once more for me, friend, before we go.
Yeah, I do a show. We do air it Friday nights at 9 o'clock. The show is coming back. I've got to say earlier, it's coming back on the Friday. It's the Friday before the community show. The community show kicks off on a Sunday. I'm going to be airing Gunners from All Corners on Friday at 9 o'clock. I'm going to get a few guests on. I'll ask Jess to come on. I'll ask Kenny Ken to come on. I might be a pain in the ass, Jez, and I might ask you on more than once. But you know, the only reason why I do that, mate, is because
anytime
we all get on. We all understand one another. There's times where we might not agree on things, but listen, that's what it is. But yeah, I feel like, you know, it's brilliant. You know, we get anybody on. Hell, you don't even have to be an Arsenal fan to come on. Just you support any team, just come on and just give your opinions and views of your teams, obviously of Arsenal and your own team you support as well. You just get involved in it.
Side and Diesel, ask, you know, they're in the group chat. Ask them. They'll put it in the group chat.
I'll put it in the group chat.
They're great guys. They're absolutely brilliant guys. Get them on as well. You know. They'll jump on, man. They're top fellas. I'll jump on anytime. You know me.
Yeah, I know you, Jez. Yeah. I see you on God knows how many shows.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, Jez. Honestly, I do like it. When you're on a show, I think, oh, blimey, my missus say, we're there watching a film. I think, oh, this film's shit. And they're good. Oh, right. Oh, so-and-so's on, yeah. Oh, Jez is on there. Oh, fuck it. I'm going to watch this. Yeah, I'm going downstairs now, love. Watch a bit of YouTube.
Fair play, mate. Everybody, thanks for watching, and go and support Anthony's channel. I've subscribed, and I'll be on there very soon. And thanks, everybody. And we're out here. Anthony, brilliant. Loved your journey in your Arsenal life. And take care, everyone.